So one of the things I was actually just saying to Dr. St. Roseman, Kimberly, is how much I appreciate the exposure to kind of new ideas um, that our students are getting through this program, right? So like one of the things I'm thinking about is like how traditionally girls aren't really encouraged to look at things like engineering or programming, right? And I certainly wasn't 20 years ago. And how, so I guess my question is, how did this project give you a platform to really explore your own interests and kind of fine tune what you want to do with them?
Yeah, so I think regarding that, I just feel like because I wasn't exposed to coding until now, I I thought at first I thought it would be challenging and I didn't think that I had what it took to learn how to code. But once I started coding, I was like, oh, this is not so bad and this is something that I can do and I can manage to learn how to do. And so with that, I've looked at like different career options that have like coding in them or just anything that has to do with like STEM. And I remember like for your class, for one of the STEM classes on Friday, I joined in one of them because I didn't have PE that day. And we were trying to, it was like an engineering thing where you had to create a catapult, right?
Valentine's Day.
And then everyone was like, oh yeah, you're like, they didn't think I could do it because one, I was alone, I didn't have anyone. And second, I didn't think I could do it because I don't really build anything. You usually associate guys building stuff. And I just didn't know how to create the catapult. And I was the one who got it to the furthest. And I was like, well, I can do this. And this is a matter of fact of me just being able to believe in myself and just learn how to do it and just apply both things and just combine them and look into that. And so with that, I've done research with like different like companies that have to do with STEM and I realized a lot of them give a lot of help to like women and just girls who want to go to college and learn STEM. And it's just, I think that it opened a lot of opportunities for me regarding like how to pay college and what to study in college to make sure that even though I want to be a lawyer in the future, right now I can go to school and major in like chemistry or just anything STEM related and then go on to grad school and choose law school. And I've learned that in order to be a lawyer, you don't necessarily have to major in something like in just you can major in anything. So I think that with magic, I've learned that I could potentially have a career in STEM and then later on fulfill my passion of being a lawyer. Yeah.
Awesome. Um, so my follow-up question to that is, um, how did you keep from getting discouraged when things didn't work?
Well, I think that for me, that was like even though it was challenging, it was still kind of like the best part of coding because even though I had a bit of challenges, with like coding and it not working, that was just like part of the learning process and part of like my website being able to be complete. And I knew that in order for me to learn and be able to complete the website, I just had to keep on pushing through the like challenges that I had with coding. And at first, I was like, oh man, like this is kind of hard because I thought that I would have to memorize everything. And I wasn't, I felt like I was cheating myself out of learning if I just kept on going back and referencing on like Codecademy or just W3 schools. So yeah, that was like I was like, I just don't want to keep on going. I want to be able to remember things and be able to like know it off the top of my head. And then I learned that you can't do that, sadly. But yeah.
I actually think that's particularly funny. You can tell that's one of the tells I have about being a former engineer is I really, and I've told my students this, like I really don't care that you can memorize things and tell me again. I care that you can find them when you need them again. And that's why I tend to, as a teacher, focus more on citing things properly than having it right here. Um, so that's such a good lesson to learn. And I like the way that you just put that, like sort of in computer programming from the little bit that I remember, which is like 20 years ago. Um, Debugging, right? Fixing the mistakes and watching it be messed up is kind of part of the process. Um,
But then it just feels so good when you go back and debug it and then it just works and you're like, yes, like finally. Yeah.
What was your favorite, or actually, I have two more questions. What was your favorite part about this whole experience with Magic is going to be the first one.
I guess the first part obviously would be just finding a project that I could have and develop with like the topics that I wanted to. So I didn't think I would be able to combine coding with something that I like to do. I thought we would probably just learn how to code and I don't know, code something, but I wasn't sure what we would code or like how to tie that in with my passions. And then I figured it out, and I feel like I might have been able to look for something more complex, but for now I'm really happy with like the way that it turned out.
And my last question is, what would you tell, like, so looking forward from the school, like what would you tell like an incoming ninth grader or incoming 10th grader, so one of your underclassmen, what would you tell them about this program to convince, like, I'm thinking of, there's a couple of girls particularly who were freshmen last year who are really kind of science nerds. What would you tell them to convince them to do magic?
Okay. I would tell them that, well, first I think I would ask them if they are like interested, and if they say no, I would ask them why they're not interested, because I feel like I know that some of the students that were offered the magic opportunity, they didn't want to because they had like a lot of things going on and they just thought it'd be too much on their plate, and some of them didn't think that they had what it took to be able to learn how to code. And so I think that I would just like try to motivate them and just tell them that um, no one who joins magic knows how to actually code, just the mentor. So it's not that they shouldn't be afraid of like learning how to code, because we all joined to learn how to code. And so with that, I would just tell them that it's an opportunity where you get to choose something that you love while learning how to code, and it has, it can open a lot of opportunities for you. And being able to meet like other mentors or just other mentees, or just even being able to network with your mentor. Like I know that they could probably help you out if you have an application for like a STEM related subject or just like a program or something. They could probably help you out and just like recommend you, because I know that if you do a good job and you actually show a lot of interest, you can grow in this like subject. And so I would just go with that. I would tell them to just choose something that they like and that they just shouldn't be like scared to learn something new, because surprisingly it turns out way better than you expect, you know? And so I would definitely recommend it. And I think that as freshmen, because universities are like more flexible with you during freshman year, I think that's like the best time to like just go out and learn about new topics. And just like if I would have liked to do it in freshman year, because then I would have known, oh, I like coding, and I could have like chosen other programs during the summer or online courses that I could have taken to just be more prepared and learn more about it. So I think that for the freshmen, they would really like benefit from this. So yeah, hopefully I get to talk to some of them next year and maybe like get them to be interested in it. Yeah.
Do we have time for one
I,
more question, Miss Era?
yeah, actually, I wanted to share something about Kimmy. So
Oh,
you know
yeah.
that when we interviewed her, she said she wanted to do something in chemistry and criminology. So when I went in our first meeting, Kimmy, we didn't talk about coding. We talked about chemistry and criminology. I showed her some Scratch projects. We talked about maybe she can do something from Scratch, because I had the clear idea that she did not want to touch coding. And so the next meeting, she comes up and says, I don't want to do Scratch. I want to learn how to code a website. So I want to know what caused that, what triggered that change.
Well, I thought that coding would just be something that would benefit me. I didn't know how. I just knew it would benefit me. And I thought, well, this is like a project for like coding and stuff. So why not just like make sure that I'm able to learn something new? And I thought, well, I'm going to be spending the rest of my junior year working on something, and I just want to make sure that it's something that I like and something new and something that I can use anytime in the future. And just like, I think that I forgot, I applied to a program and I got denied, but either way, one of the admissions person was, they told me that it was pretty interesting that I learned how to code, that I wanted to code because not many girls know how to code. And I was like, oh, that's kind of offensive anyways. And then I was like, yeah, you know, yeah.
This is why we love Kimmy. Absolutely. So final question that I have is, what are your takeaways? Like, in terms of what you've learned about yourself, in terms of what you've learned about STEM and STEM education in general, what are you taking away back into your, because you're going to be a senior next year, what are you taking into your senior year with you from this experience?
Well, I think I'm taking like I don't know, like at first, STEM, whenever I heard STEM, you know, I'd be like, ugh, more science. And it just wasn't like, oh my God, I want to do it. Like, I was just like, no, I don't really want to. And then, but with like the program and just like in general, with like the classes that I've had at ODA with you, STEM has just become like a big interest for me. You know, I've developed like more interest in it, and I do want to do like further research and just see if I can find more programs with STEM. But from this experience, I just learned some things I learned about myself were that I need to be more patient with myself, because a lot of the times I wanted to like do a lot on the website. Like if Miss Ira gave me homework, I would want to do more work on the website so that I could just have more stuff ready for the next meeting. But then I would get frustrated because there would be like just some problems with the coding. I wouldn't be able to move forward with that. And it was just frustrating because I wanted to add this, I wanted to add that, and I just wanted to add a lot of things, but I didn't have enough time to do it, or I just wasn't able to figure it out on my own. And that was because I'm really independent. And so having to rely on different sources, and then having to ask this era, it wasn't that I didn't want to ask her, it was just that I wanted to do it myself. And so a lot of the times she would ask me, oh, do you remember what arrays are? Do you remember what this is? And I'd be like, I'm trying to remember, but I just can't. And so that would be like something stressful. But yeah, I just have to be more patient with myself. And I also took away the fact that I like coding now, you know? And I didn't think, my fifth grade self didn't think she would ever say that. So that's great. I like that. And I'm just going to senior year with a little more like of an open mind, and just not thinking about like just law and criminology itself, but like also like you could do STEM, Kimberly, like, you know, you could just go into different fields without just having your eyes set on law. And there's like different sciences that also include some sort of law, or just like have to do something with criminal justice in general. So yeah, I take that with me.
I don't think I have anything else other than I was happy to see that you were talking about user experience. That's what my sister does. Yeah. Nice work, Kimberly. I'm excited to see what your site turns into, and I have dreams of it becoming like a choose your own adventure book.
Ooh, yeah.
Murder mystery.